Hey everybody, Courtney here. Well, I tried this 3 times so far, so I'm gonna try it again. I want to come in and talk to you about my menopause journey and what I've been going through. You may hear my husband come to the door to call the dogs here in a minute. So many of you who follow me for financial information or simple living or even yoga, as I'm a retired yoga therapist. But I wanted to share some kind of personal things. I've been sharing more personal things lately with you all from what I eat. Many of you know I'm plant-based, whole food plant-based. I'm a vegan, which I tell you that because I get questions about that a lot. And so I've been going through this really challenging menopause journey. And I want to give you all of that because I'm going to post this on a page that I run on Facebook with a friend called Plant-Based Best Life with Rena and Courtney, where we share whole food plant-based living over there. So I just want to say I have been humbled by menopause. I am 53, almost 54. I became a vegan at 49. I became whole food plant-based at 50. And it has been wonderful. It has been the best thing I've ever done. I had rheumatoid arthritis diagnosed at 48. After going whole food plant-based, I reversed that rheumatoid arthritis and no longer test positive for it. And it's something that you're not supposed to be able to heal. I don't believe it's healed, but I've got the numbers down so low that it doesn't show up anymore. I do have Sjogren's disease also, so that's really challenging. And I've been struggling with the long version of the virus from the pandemic. I worry that they're going to censor things in here, so I don't say too much about that. But many of you have been following me and you've seen the ups and downs I've had over the 4 years. Not once have I regretted going whole food plant-based. I've had this autoimmune disease since I was in my 20s. I caught Epstein-Barr and I was sick really sick. Ooh, there's a bugaboo. Sorry, I live on a horse farm and my husband's out there working with the horses. And so the horse flies kind of come in sometimes. So I developed Epstein-Barr. They diagnosed me with fibromyalgia and Sjogren's way back then, and chronic fatigue. I was really sick for about a year and a half, so bad that I had to go to the arthritis hospital, and I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything for about a year and a half. I got better, like 50% better, but I never got back to completely well. That was when I was like 26, 27. By the time I was 40, I got divorced. That took a lot of stress off my plate. I had new stressors, but they weren't the same. And they were stressors that I felt more in control of my life. I went into remission until I was 48. And at 49, I got tested to see if I was menopause. I was not in menopause. It was almost 50 when I got tested. So I have no way of really knowing because I had my womb taken out when I was in my late 30s. So I hadn't had a period in years, but I still had my ovaries. So menopause still comes naturally, but it came later for me around 51 and a half, which is like the average. But many of my friends and people I know have gone through menopause in their 40s. So I am struggling with all of this long version of the virus, autoimmune flares, and I go to my doctor last fall and he says, we need to test you for menopause because that could be some of your problem. And I'm thinking, okay, I was having hot flashes. I was having other things going along with that, but I never attributed them to menopause. Aches and pains. My hips hurt all the time. I had neuropathy. Turned out I was B6 toxic. I had been prescribed B6 for nerve pain by another doctor, and apparently it was in more than I knew. It's very rare to become B6 toxic, but sometimes when you have autoimmune diseases, your body does funny things. It absorbs some vitamins well and doesn't absorb others. I was a little low in D and magnesium, even though I sit out in the sun often, and I take a magnesium supplement. So I had to address all of those. They tested me. I was in menopause. I had virtually no estrogen. My testosterone was off a cliff. My progesterone was normal. So I'm going through all these things. I'm being tested for sleep apnea. I've gone through all these tests, every test a pulmonologist and a heart doctor can give you, including heart cath I go through. I am found to have, I'm going hypoxic at night. My heart My heart rate is super low and my oxygen saturation is super low. They put me on oxygen to sleep. I'm having PVCs. My heart's not pumping correctly. It's pumping too fast, and which makes me dizzy. But I'm having a lot of pain too. Sorry about that, guys. So I'm like, okay, sure. And he tells me, all these things are low, and he gives me compounded hormones from a compounding pharmacy, estrogen and progesterone. I feel like $1,000,000 within a week. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea menopause could cause so many problems. Now, it wasn't messing with my breathing or my heart, but it definitely was causing the aches and pains, the headaches, the night sweats. I was having hot flashes all the time. Even in the day, I'd be at the grocery store checking out and I'd be like, oh my gosh, it was horrible. The sleep problems, and anxiety, really bad anxiety. And so anyway, it was anxiety to the extent of not being able to control it because my job has been as a stress management specialist, but it was always in the background, like static. Okay, so I get on it, and I had lost about 34 pounds going on a plant-based diet, and I had maintained that all through the first couple of years of menopause, that weight loss within a few pounds. And I would say I had put on a couple of pounds during the first 2 years of menopause because I had gotten really, really thin when I first went whole food plant-based, and then not abnormally thin or unhealthy thin, but very thin, as thin as I was like in high school. And then going through the menopause, I did gain a few pounds, and it bothered me, but I wasn't overweight. So I was like, well, don't stress about it. You're still, healthy. And then they put me on HRT, and I started gaining and gaining and gaining. And when they added testosterone about 4 months in, I really started gaining. At this point, I'm gaining 1 pound a month. I am now about 10 pounds heavier. So about a month ago, about 3 weeks ago, I weaned myself off of all the hormones. They had given me 3 tests throughout this 10-month period. They had 2 blood tests, a saliva test. They had tweaked them. I was on progesterone, a pill, and then the other ones were creams. And I just was like, I cannot keep gaining. None of my clothes were fitting. Everything felt tight. I felt uncomfortable. I'm still not in the overweight range, but I'm getting there, and it makes me super sad and super uncomfortable. And so because I count calories sometimes, I count macros. I'll do that for like weeks at a time to make sure I'm not overeating. I exercise when I'm able. I have had flares in the past where I would get exercise intolerance because of having PVCs, extra heartbeats. I can't exercise hard, so I walk. What I'm doing right now, I'm on a routine. I walk 20 minutes. I have to walk slower than I want to because I can't let my heart rate get too high. I do a little bit of strength training and stretch, and then the next day I walk and I do yoga, and then I take a day off, and then I repeat. And so I have to do that, otherwise I get short of breath. I'm on oxygen at night. I've been able to taper off of that. I only have to use it as needed now. So it's been hard. And for all the women out there who are struggling with weight gain, and you're working out and you're eating right and you're even counting calories and macros and you're still gaining weight while your husband is losing weight because you're feeding him the same stuff you're eating, which is my case, it's really depressing and it's really sad. But then on the other hand, I'm trying to focus on the fact that I am feeling so much better, right? So I weaned myself off. I stayed off of them for 10 days. All the aches and pains came back. The headaches came back. I wasn't sleeping as well. The anxiety was low key, not too bad. The night sweats did not come back. The hot flashes have not come back. I have been doing some, I was doing some natural things. Feminescence was one. Promacil was another. Those are red clover, soy, black cohosh, and estrogen. I'm not sure if Don Quai is in there. And they were helping. They were doing good, but I was still waking up in pain every day. My hips were killing me. Your bursa sacs getting inflamed in your hips is really common with menopause. And so I went to the doctor last Tuesday, it's Saturday, and we agreed that I would do a Dottie patch, an estrogen patch. It's a body identical. It is FDA approved, so my insurance pays for it, so it's so much cheaper. It's very low risk. It is supposed to help with cognitive decline, osteoporosis, and then all the symptoms of menopause like hot flashes, night sweats, headaches, all that stuff. But it also reduces your chances of heart disease. The risks are pretty low on there of breast cancer, especially if you start HRT within the first 5 years of going through menopause. So I am back on. At first I dropped a few pounds and then I put some extra on, but here's what I've come to the conclusion. I can only control my nutrition. I can control my exercise. I can control when I go to bed and when I get up, and I can control stress management. Beyond that, I cannot control what my weight is doing because of hormones. I can't control it. So it's not worth the pain. So I'm trying to focus on strong over skinny, being fit and being healthy and not hurting and being able to do more. So I'm on this regimen of working out 2 days a week, taking a day off, 2 more days workout, take a day off. And it's really hard for me to take that day off. But as I build my strength back up with an autoimmune disease, I think it's really imperative. I am still on my whole food plant-based diet. I love it. I have no intentions of changing. For me, it's ethical. And yeah, I quit eating after dinner every night. I have cut my caffeine intake to 1 cup of coffee a day. No more diet soda, which I didn't drink very much anyway, but occasionally I would. It's terrible for you. I've gone years without it, and then I'll get back on a kick where I'll drink it a couple times a week in the afternoon, and it's not doing me any favors for my heart. So thank you all for listening. I will let you all know I have got 6 weeks that I'm trying this Dottie patch to see what happens. Within a few days back on the estrogen, my pain is so much better and everything is so much better. So focus on strong over skinny, focus on being healthy, focus on living your best life and knowing your worth. That sounds so cliche to say live your best life, but know that your worth is not in, your body. And so I'm trying to tell myself that every day. I've been slowly buying some new clothes here and there, going through my closet, picking out what fits me and what's comfortable, and just dressing comfortable. And I really don't care so much about what other people think about me. It's more about how I feel in my body. And so I try really hard not to wear tight clothes. I've been trying to make sure to have underwear and bras that fit comfortably, things like that, so that you're not constantly aware of it. So it's made me gain a lot of weight in my chest, which I used to be a G, and then I went down to a double D, and I was so happy. And now I'm getting back up there where my bras, I'm starting to spill out over them. So I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But, one thing I will say about menopause with HRT, if you work out, you tend to gain weight in your booty and in your boobs. And so I'm not having as much trouble with my tummy. I am having a little bit of that menopausal back fat, which is awful. But I just wanted to be real with you guys because it is so hard and it is so humbling with the weight gain in menopause, even if you're doing everything right. So thank you for listening to my talk. I appreciate you all so much. Have a wonderful day, and I'll keep you posted. Bye.